Good morning, everyone. Today is Sunday. We're getting headed for that 4-day remediation under the flagstone. That'll be tomorrow morning. We start that. So today, you know that I normally don't do site inspections. I did these jobs over the phone, and I do it based after Casey and Krista do Google search maps, and they go through the list of many questions on our call sheet. I can bid them competitively most of the time over the phone. But there are certain instances where I do go out and look at these. Sometimes the access looks difficult, and I always want to give the customer the best price. So just because something may look difficult on Google Maps, throwing a high number out there, it's just like throwing the bid out the window. They're not even going to look at it. So I want to get every job. So this job, it was over in Westchester County. It's in Mount Vernon. So I figured I'd bring you along, maybe give you a little bit of advice for 30 years of sales on how to try to competitively win a bid. I know that she has had two contractors come out to the site to give estimates. One contractor said that the tank has to be removed by hand. It can't be done by machine because there's no access. The other says he can get a machine up there to do it. So when trying to bid a job competitively, a lot of things that have to, or you should do in order to get it. The first thing is, you as the owner go out to the job to meet the customers. Don't send a sales rep, don't send a worker or a laborer. Everything you do like that just decreases the opportunity for you to get the bid. The other thing is, these people may not be judgmental people, but it's just human nature. They're going to judge you from the beginning, from the first phone call into the office, how the girls are, whether they're polite, whether they're easy to talk with, to your appearance. So obviously the first thing is, I'm going to go get the truck washed. You think about your competitor, they're going to show up in a work vehicle also. So when I have contractors come to bid work for me personally, I kind of like seeing a nice, new, clean truck. It may and it may not have anything to do with it, the quality of what they do, but it's just how I perceive it. So again, I don't want to do anything that possibly hurts the chance of me not getting the job. So right now we're going to head out and go get the truck washed. Don't show up in a Z06 Corvette or Mercedes. Kind of looks like you overpriced the job. But definitely be presentable on how you do it. The other thing is, know as much as possible about this homeowner or this customer. Don't go out there and you start asking a bunch of questions. On the call sheet, the girls, like I said, they ask a lot of questions, so I study that pretty well, and I know it well. I also go on to the Google Maps and I look at the property. So when I arrive at the property, as I start to walk around to the back of the house, I'll let them know that I know what's around the house. So you seem like you're educated. You actually took the time and put it in to know what you're looking at, what the property looks like. They like to hear that. Makes them seem, I guess, a little special. The other thing is, let them do the talking. When you're on the phone with them, let them do the talking, because after you hear a customer or a homeowner talk, after a period of time, you kind of know what they want to hear afterwards. Don't give your opinion on how you think something should done. Give the customer what they want. If they ask for your opinion, then you give your opinion. You're there to do the work that they want. They've thought it through many a times. They know what they want. If it's a suggestion about helping them with future sales or a possible problem that could arise by going the way that they want to do it, then maybe, only maybe, you make that suggestion. And you know the homeowners and customers that are okay hearing that question. There are some people, when you go out to the site, there are some people that they think they know more than you, even in the industry you're in. So that's fine. So this customer is, like I said earlier, is in Westchester County. Westchester County has, for all the counties that I work in, the 7 different ones, that county has the most environmental tank removal companies in any other of the counties. So that's a competitive area. The pricings there are much higher than mine, because of Westchester County it's one of the more wealthier counties in the Hudson Valley, maybe the wealthiest, I think. So their prices are based on that area. Now, that doesn't mean that you raise your price just because their prices are higher. I never do that. Also, I'm probably going to have, my GPS says it's an hour and 37 minutes away. So I'm going to have 3 hours travel time added to it. If I've got 5 guys there, they all make $30 an hour. That adds up. You've got tolls, wear and tear on the truck, fuel, all that stuff adds up. But I don't add that extra in. It's not the homeowner's fault because my business is further away from them. You know, in my business, I look at it, there's only so many tanks. They're not coming to me, I gotta go to them. So I don't handicap the homeowner because I'm far from them. My prices are all the same, whether I'm up in Greene County, New York, or down to Trenton, New Jersey, which essentially is our area that we cover. I'll probably go an hour and 40 minutes north and south away from the shop. So even though I explained that you don't raise your prices, you want, again, your price to be competitive. Not always has to be the lowest, but it has to be right around there. So you would slightly adjust it to not be the one where they just take and push off to the side because it's too low. So you have to know your competitors. You have to know who you're bidding against, and that only comes with time and keeping good notes. You never ask a potential customer who the other company is that's bidding it, and you most certainly never ask if you can see the estimate. To me, that's just a weakness. Thirdly, you never put down the company. If you do get the information on who, because sometimes, like I said, the homeowner will offer that information, never put that company down. Ever, at all, even if they're a horrible company. It's not your responsibility to protect them with regards to choosing the right and wrong company. They'll do their due diligence to make sure that they get a good contractor, but never, ever put down the company. That to me, that's ugly. That's weak. That's desperate. That's a company that's got to sling mud in order to keep their wheels turning. So I'll always stay away from that, and I don't think that I've ever done that, even when I know it's a competitor that I want to do the job instead of him, or one that I may have had problems with, or one that you know talks crap about you. Never get into that with them. It's a weakness, and it shows that to your potential customer. When scheduling the site inspection to meet the customer, you'll always ask them what works best for them. Don't make them work their schedule around yours. Come out on weekends. Come out after 6 o'clock at night. Nothing should ever be a problem to you. Because, as I said, the person may not be a judgmental person, but automatically it's human nature. They do start judging, and a lot of times they don't want to deal with a contractor that's a little controlling or may have a little bit of a temper. Never let them see that, because they think about, wow, how's this guy going to be if we run into problems? Is he going to try to control me? Is he going to boss me around? Is it going to be only his way? It's that old saying, is most certainly true. The customer is always right. Always. And sometimes you'll have to lose money and you factor that stuff in at the beginning of the year, that there are jobs and customers, in order to please them, you're going to have to lose money, because in the end, a good referral is all you're looking for on top of the job. Okay, she's ready to go. I want to get as much information as you can on this potential client. For me, you always want to begin to create a bit of a relationship, something, be the person that's trustable. You know, believe me, I don't think that they enjoy the process of contractors coming out. They just want to find that right one, and they can make their decision really quickly, even before you give them the actual estimate. They want the project to go smooth. They want somebody that they can work with. They want to know they're dealing with the owner, and they want to know that if things do go wrong, that it's going to be resolved in their favor. A lot of times, some potential customers want to feel they can control the situation. So just be what that customer wants you to be. And the end result, like for me, it's not just to try to get the job to get the money, it's to get the job to get the referral. I know a lot of my competitors in this industry. You know, we talk on our end, we talk about homeowners, so we know that we're bidding the same customer, and they'll say, wow, this guy is, you know, I want to work for him. That's not the case with me. I'll work with anyone. And believe it or not, the more difficult the customer is with the other competitors, first off, it's easier to get that job because they don't want to do it. They'll overbid it on purpose. The other is they end up being one of my better referrals, and just the basic logic. If he's a difficult individual, or he's a meticulous individual, or he's a controlling person that wants to, you know, he's the guy that'll stand over you the whole project, ask why you're doing that, and question everything that you do, that's fine. After the project over, obviously you control how that's going to go, so you always make it successful. You always do a good job for them. Afterwards, when they begin to talk about us to their friends know that he's difficult, and they say to themselves, wow, oh, if Johnny liked these guys, they must be amazing, because we know how difficult he is. So they always turn into be one of the better referrals. So don't hedge away from a difficult customer, or anyone like that. Any job that you get, the amount of money that you make is not important. In this industry, we are in a referral-based society. It's all about referrals. 62% of my business is referrals. With all the money that I spend on advertising, it's still today, it's all about referrals. So as I was saying about creating a trusting relationship, you always try to find a common ground, something that you both have interest in, and you do that based on the questions the girls. When I pull up on site, try to get a peek at the garage, see what kind of vehicles they have, something to try to spark up a conversation or an interest outside of the work you're coming there to bid. Maybe a mutual friend, something to separate you from the competitors that have already been out there or already going to come out there. That's a good way to do things like that. Any little thing that you can do to make them feel more comfortable with you, do it. Timing on how quick you get that estimate back to the potential customer from the moment they called the office. You know that I don't like to, that's not necessarily like, I don't do a lot of site inspection, because the amount of calls that we get per day, I would need 2 men running 8 hours a day, running around giving estimates. And I don't like doing that because I want to be the guy they meet. And most of the time, a site inspection is not needed. If somebody put the tank in, I can take the tank out. It's as simple as that. It's not rocket science what we're doing out here. It's the timing. So if you call me anytime during the day, I do all of my estimates when I get home. 5 o'clock at night, I'm on the computer for about 3 hours every night. You call that day, you get your estimate that night. Don't let an estimate linger, because again, they're going to judge you. You know, if the guy can't even get me an estimate, how's the scheduling going to go? That's not going to work. As soon as you get the call that day, you give them the estimate. Today's a Sunday. I don't even think the homeowner is going to be there. But as soon as I get back, I'll begin to work on that estimate. Once you get an estimate out to a customer, the following week, I'll resend it. And I'll ask if they've received the quote that I sent a week ago, if they have any questions about it, if anything that they want to discuss about it. If I don't hear anything back from them, I'll shoot it to them one more time, apologizing about the nuisance, just wanting to see the status of the project. And at that point in time, most of the time, they've already gone with me. I get about 75% of the estimates that I send out. They'll either tell you that we went with another company, or we're thinking about it, or we're holding off on the project until springtime, or whatever. But if they tell you that, you copy it, paste it, send it to the girl in the office, you create a file for that customer, you put it in that file, and you put it in a list of callbacks for, say, September, that this customer wants to be called back in September, and you make sure and you call that customer back in September. Once you arrive on site, you don't know where you fall with the other contractors. You don't know whether you're the first one, the middle, the last, or whomever. But most of the time, they want you to give a verbal right then and there. Give them one. You'll know what the project costs. You don't need to go home and figure things out on a pencil and paper. If you do need to do that, you're working too hard to get the job, and you're probably missing a lot, and you may be missing it by $100 or so. As soon as I walk on site, I know how much the project needs to be for me to make money. So you give them that number. Give them a $200-300 range. If it seems to be a difficult project and the highs number, don't hem and haw with your answer. You look them right in the eye with confidence and you tell them it's going to be $8,000. And then you give the reasons why it's $8,000 and why you feel you're the company to handle this project. And you don't do that based on putting other companies down. You do it based on what your company can provide for them, because they'll compare and say, wow, you know, that other guy didn't say he was going to do that, and you know, he doesn't have that. For me, the thing that separates my company from everyone is there's not a dad that works with his 3 sons. There's not one out there. I win. We're a family-owned business, and trust me, I use that at every single job. When I arrive on site, I let the homeowner know right off the bat. I introduce them and I say, here's my 3 sons. I see they feel more comfortable, as I would if that guy showed up on my property. So anything where you know you're better than someone else, somewhere along the line, make sure you let them know that. Just want to take a second to talk about the customer who wants 3 referrals. I don't get a lot of them anymore, but to this day it still blows my mind. I do not understand that process. I don't hand out my customers' contact information. Even the ones that love us and offer it, yeah, you can use me as a referral. No, I'm not going to do that, because on your 37th phone call on Saturday morning, talking to a stranger on how good your relationship or your job was with me, you're going to be pissed off and begin to not like Tank Masters. The other thing is, I mean, think about it, folks. Aren't you going to give them your 3 best customers? Aren't you going to give them the 3 best leads? I don't get that. So I don't think that's a good way to investigate the contractor you have coming out. And I question the contractor that's, oh, sure, you got a pen and paper, I'll give you my 3 right now, because he's going to give you his brother-in-law, his 2 sisters. If they're a dishonest company, that's just an open door for the dishonest company to continue being dishonest and to look good with his 3 fake referrals. So I don't hand out my customers' contact information. I advise them to call the local building department or the city hall where we're going to do that work. And you talk to the girls in the office, because the girls in the office have an ongoing working relationship with my company, my office, the girls in my office. They see how quick we get the permits in, our workman's comp, insurance information, how quick we are to schedule and coordinate inspections with the inspector. They see whether we do or we are a company that cancels a lot. And then at the end of the project, how quick we get our paperwork in, all of our liquid manifests, our scrap disposal documentation. The girls in the office in the town hall can tell you who the best companies are. And then to vouch on the quality of the work, talk to the building inspector, because he comes out and sees our work. Check the Better Business Bureau. Word of mouth. Hey, you guys know any good tank companies? That's the best way to find out whether the contractor is your contractor, not the guy that hands you 3 names. Okay, we have arrived at the site. So I don't think anyone's going to be home because I've asked. So the first thing I do is just look at access for my equipment, house parking, initially the home for access. I can see that for some reason, they've already got an underground mark out. I have an idea on where the tank is. There was a fire at this property. So if I've got to do this tank by hand, because that's what it's looking like, a hand removal, you want to know how much overburden there is, or how deep the tank is. So you could actually put the tape measure down and kind of hook the edge of the tank. See right there? I'm hooking it. So it's only got 12 inches of cover. So if it's not a fake 90 or an elbow I'm catching, it's not the top of the tank right there, then it's going to be more or less than 5 feet. So if I go all the way down to the bottom of the tank, and there you go, that's 5 feet. So it tells me it's only got 12 inches of cover, which, you know, obviously stinks to hand excavate a tank. And it's got 18 inches of product. So I don't know if, and it looks red, I don't know if they're looking for this to be an install. I know there's natural gas in the streets here because I saw it marked out. So I don't know if they want to go with an install or we're just taking this out. So it's a hand excavation then. And in order to get the tank out, we'll have to dig down alongside of it, probably 3 feet on this side, 3 feet. So then as we're digging, where are we going to stockpile? I see a wall here, so that may be the homeowner's property. So now this is the only area I've got to stockpile dirt in order to get this tank out. So we may have to be putting a lot of dirt over there, or creating a path over here to wheelbarrow it and stockpile it. But then keep in mind, once the tank's out, getting product back in it. And I mean, I've got this homeowner's wall down there. I've got this wall, it's next to the foundation. I'm absolutely pumping this with concrete. That's the best product. I'm not going to affect the integrity of the structure of anything. I'm not going to have water issues. I don't know if there's water issues here. I don't want to have problems. So right off the bat, I'm bidding this to backfill it with concrete. And if they're in a rush to do it, which everyone seems to be, we're hand excavating through frost. So you keep that in mind. Keep in mind where we are, my competitors on what they're bidding. I don't know about that guy that says he's doing it with an excavator, because it's impossible, unless he's got a larger machine where he'll sit down there, quickly track in with a smaller machine like our Megatron and set it up here. But it's kind of useless, because all you're going to be able to do is utilize that to dig the 12 inches down to the tank. I just got to get the entire top of the tank open, then I'll cut it with a Sawzall, get inside of it, and then we'll plasma cut it, and we'll cut it out in pieces and hand it out. Now if that tank fails inspection, you've got a remediation here, then you've got a difficult project, excavating and remediating by hand. But that also, I'm hoping it's a 550, but this is a large home, and most of the homes here in Mount Vernon on this road all had 1,000 gallon tanks. I've noticed the closer to New York City, and in a city populated area, these tanks are all 1,000 gallons. So that's what I'm thinking it is. We'll get some more information from the homeowner, and then I will get her a competitive bid today. So that's it, folks. We're going to head back now. So no one was here. I couldn't ask the questions or have a better conversation with her, which I need to have. So I'll get on the phone now and ask a few questions. I'm really intrigued by the company that said they're going to remove it with a machine. Sometimes customers don't tell the truth about everything, because obviously that's a very labor intense project, so it's going to be quite a bit of money. I just want to have that conversation with her, try to create a rapport, try to get as much information as I can, and then I'll work on that estimate and we'll get it out to her. I'll let you know whether or not I got the project. Hopefully anybody starting in a new business has learned a few things here. And that's it. Appreciate everybody watching. I can't remember the guy who won the hoodie challenge, but he was only one off. Mikey jacked up 205 17 times. That was pretty cool. Keep watching.